Alright guys, so just like we discussed in the last video, today we will cover the AAA industry tools usually not used by indie developers, which they can check out for their bigger productions. It's usually they are gatekept and people usually don't use them as much. So let's cover most of them. So here we have an audio solution called WWise. Definitely WWise is one of the most covered in the bigger industries. It's a very amazing audio solution or interactive audio solution that you could use in your projects. It's integrated already in bigger engines like Unity and Unreal, so it's definitely a go for a complex audio interactive video game, just like, for example, Amnesia the Bunker. As you see in Powered by WWise, it's used by most of the games that you've probably seen or played before. Most of the games, AAA games, usually use WWise. It's a very familiar engine. You're gonna see, like Warhammer, for example, multiple big, very AAA games use this software, and also sometimes AA titles and some indie titles usually do that too. So definitely check it out because it's really left out from the community. I've never seen many people use such tools, so that's why I'm covering here in this video. The second one is also in the audio category, which is fmod. Fmod is a bit more famous with people here, not as much as WWise. It's probably more familiar with it. It's also one of the most used audio solutions integrations for game development. It's very easier than WWise, and it's very friendly with indie games, as you see, for example, Celeste. It's one of the best tools. I see many indie games get very frustrated when like doing their audio, because most people come either from art background or programming background. So having an audio tool is something that is definitely a go in indie development, because especially if you're like making a horror game that very relies on sound, or a game that is musical and rely on sound, audio integration is one of the most neglected thing in game development, indie game development in general. So learning these tools, having solutions for integration like fmod and WWise is definitely something that you want to at least have in mind when you are deciding what game you want. So again, this is why I'm covering this, just because it could help you when you make your next game or your current game decide what tools are the best for you, because unfortunately they are a bit gatekept. Here we have Perforce. Perforce is one of the version control tools that is very familiar in the game development industry. Ubisoft use it. Multiple big companies use Perforce. It's a bit more complicated, unfortunately, so it's not really as friendly as like other version controls sources for indie developers. It takes a lot of time and it's very complicated. And again, most of these tools are mostly for bigger productions, not very small productions. So if you want something a bit less complicated than Perforce software, so I would recommend Plastic CSM. It's one of the most used in Unity. I really like Plastic CSM. It's way more beginner friendly and way more like indie friendly. Of course, it's still complicated to actually set up, but it is way less complicated than Perforce. Perforce is actually one of the things that is almost brutal to deal with in small productions. But if you want something more simple, I would recommend Plastic, because it's way easier, way more better integrated, and have actually more documentation and tutorials than Perforce. So version control is something very important. If you are working with a big team, you want to have good version control. So these are some things that you also want to consider if you are going to make a game, or you are in the pre-production of your current game and really want to have things right set up for your team. So for 3D softwares, Autodesk Maya is one of the most used 3D software out there in the industry. Yes, it is well known even in the indie industry. Some people don't usually do it because of the high price of Maya, but definitely if you want the best visuals, the best 3D modeling software, Autodesk Maya goes on top. Of course, Blender definitely could make an amazing result, definitely is competitive with Maya, but here is the actually why people use Maya. The integration of other software, like for example Houdini, which we will cover later on the video, which is a very amazing procedural generation tool, is usually easier with the whole Autodesk plugins because everything is really integrated and they are more even integrated in engines like Unreal Engine. So usually this is the reason why they don't use Blender, yet Blender is a very amazing, astonishing software. So this is why usually bigger companies use Maya, because they definitely have the other software from Autodesk and they are using, for example, Houdini for procedurally generating VFX and stuff like that, and have an integration with Unreal Engine directly. So that's why usually bigger companies, especially that they are working on Unreal, use Autodesk Maya. One of the 100% Go solution for sculpting, either ND, AAA, is ZBrush. One of the most amazing sculpting tools out there. You definitely 100% need ZBrush if you want a very high, visually astonishing characters for your video games or sculpted stuff for your video game. You would need ZBrush. I know most of these softwares are paid and not free, which is a bit not very indie beginner friendly, but most of them have for learning a free trial, and one of the things that you need to consider is bigger productions would need in the end some spending either for softwares or assets, so you're gonna spend some money in the end. You do not definitely need all of this. You can sculpt in Blender, you can do whatever you want. There's different softwares. I'm just here saying what is being used in the AAA industry right now. So ZBrush is definitely one of the most important tools to have if you are going for a 3D game. But if you have a very good sculpted and a very good modeled thing, you need to texture it, and here comes Substance Painter. Substance Painter is actually the best, in my opinion, painting texture software out there. So I definitely would recommend, and it's widely used either in indie development, in AA and AAA industries. Substance Painter, I know many people don't like Adobe, but Substance Painter is one of the best tools out there. I would really like if I see more competition over there, because Adobe is not one of the most loved companies out there from the community, as I've seen. So I would love to see some competition in the future, but currently, unfortunately, Substance Painter is the best right now. You can buy it rather than just as I think it's you can buy it forever. I don't think it have only something like a subscription. So yeah, it's one of the most amazing tools out there. Definitely check it. The last and most important for bigger production is Houdini, or what comes from side FX. Houdini is one of the best procedurally generated VFX for or sometimes people even model in it softwares out there. Like, just see how amazing the things that Houdini could do, and you would understand why it is widely used in the game development genre. Like, see this, these stuff is just too amazing to use. Like, as you see, the simulations, most of the simulations are just too amazing to be used in Houdini. Like, as you see it right here, it's a very good already integrated, like as you see, most of the things here are already pre-integrated in Unity. They have plugins for Unity and Unreal, so it's very easy to use, and the quality is definitely amazing for all styles, for all different art styles in the video games industry. So as you see, definitely I would definitely check out Houdini if I was going to a bigger production, especially a 3D game that I need some simulations and FX for it. For vegetation, usually SpeedTree is one of the most used softwares out there. SpeedTree is a very amazing vegetation software usually is used not just in like video games, but even in photography and cinematography. So it's one of the most things that I would go for if I wanted to make a realistic game with. Like, as you see, the quality of the trees here is definitely amazing. You really want to check speed tree if you're going with a game that has a lot of vegetation, especially for AA or AAA standardized. They are definitely having a lot of assets, as you see, that are usually used, and they are all having their own LODs. So you are going to have something that is industry standard. So they have a very nice software and a very nice asset library if you want for your video game. But let's say that you want to make a 2D game, not a 3D game. Not everyone wants to make a 3D game. So here we go to one of the most known for animation and video game industry for any 2D game, which is Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint is one of the most well-known softwares out there for 2D animation. We're talking anime style, cartoon style. Clip Studio Paint is a very nice software for that. If you're going for a pixel art, I would recommend Photoshop and a Sprite more, because Clip Studio Paint is definitely not one of the best in pixel art tools. But for any other style other than pixel art, which is 2D, like we're talking anime style here, and specifically because Clip Studio Paint is very good in anime style, you would want to go to Clip Studio Paint. It's an amazing, nice software. If you want a free solutions, there is like Kirita, for example, and GIMP for like Photoshop. But again, most of the AAA industry just like buy a seat for these programs for all of their employees. So you can, if you were like an indie team, you buy only one seat for your art director or for the one who is working on the 2D art. If you have like an art division or something like that, just to reduce the budget count or the budget spending. So it's definitely one of the best tools for 2D. You definitely need to check it. But what if you want a 3D animation, not just 2D animation? You have a suit and you want to make a very complex animations. Here comes another software from Autodesk. Again, that's why they usually use Autodesk, because they are interconnected with each other. We have Autodesk Motion Builder. So this is one of the motion tracking softwares out there from Autodesk. It's a very nice solution, and I would definitely go and use it. And for capturing face animations, there is multiple softwares, by the way, for catching other body or face animations. We have Faceware, is one of the most well-known softwares out there, and it's already integrated. Most of these softwares are already integrated in all softwares. The popular one like Unity, Unreal, 3D Max, Maya, as you see, most of them, they are already integrated, and these are top tier things that is used from the, as you see, the AAA companies. We have Rockstar, Sega, Capcom. We have games like The Witcher and Horizon Zero Dawn. You have most of the games that you've probably played before using these software. So you definitely need to check them out if you're going to something as the same as the quality of them, because you're gonna have a lot of headache if you just need to do an animation per hand, because it's gonna take a lot more time than motion capturing face animation or body animation. For terrain, usually people don't just sculpt their terrain, they use Word Machine, for example, which is one of the best tools for terrain generation. Yeah, they don't sculpt the terrain that just like most people do in indie development. They generate it using something like this tool. And as you see, it's a very amazing tool to do. It's very manageable, and as you see, it's very easy to use for them after setting it up, and it gives you a lot of variations and less headache for shader compilations like people do. So this is why most people use such tools for, yeah, as you see, there's advanced texturing and like it's already optimized. So these are the tools that usually are used in the industry for terrain generation. You have Gaia also for procedural non-destructive terrain generation. As you see, it's very beginner friendly. I know it's a catch that usually they say, but yeah, Gaia is very friendly to use. As you see, they have this visual compound for their software. It's very amazing thing. Usually it's even used in the cinematography, not just in video games. They usually use it in like movies and stuff like that. And yeah, as you see, Alan Wake, Death Stranding, again, most of the games you know, God of War Ragnarok, most of the games you know, most of the movies you know, already use these software. So if you want the same quality, if you're going for bigger production, or you just want to test out for testing purposes and gaining experience, knowing these softwares is 100%. For tracking stuff, they usually use like DevTrack. It's an award-winning software. It's very known in Konami, Sega, and different AAA companies. It's usually used for bug list. Again, as I talk a lot about the bug list, when you are doing a very big game and you are almost finishing the production, you're gonna have like a very big list of bugs that you need to fix. And if the video game studio have different divisions, they need to communicate each other upon who fix what in this bug list, because there's gonna be some music, art, programming, and different bugs, or maybe even difficulty stuff that is related to stats in the game that need to be like change in the CVS files. So they usually use a tracking software just like DevTrack to track their progress on the bug list or any progress in their development. For building, because they definitely don't just like press build, usually they build it in a very specific way to have like a very nice setup for it. So usually they use something like Jenkins. Jenkins is like, I guess it was built on Java. It's one of the most used in the industry for building stuff in a very nice way. I don't think it was used only in game development. It's used even in other projects like web applications or stuff like that. As I remember, I'm not very sure about this, but it's one of the things that you need to consider if you have like a lot of builds for testing purposes and stuff like that. Jenkins is one of the most used plugins out there. Also have Amazon AWS is one of the most cloud building tools out there used in the industry, but in my opinion, I don't really like the Amazon solution just because it's very complicated and actually not very beginner friendly as many people think. It's very complicated and messy in my opinion, so I really don't like it, but I've seen many people in the industry use it just because of how reliable, as they say, about it. So definitely check it out if you are going for a bigger production. Again, for story building, just like we said in the previous episode, definitely go and check it out if you want to build a very good story. We have Twine, for example, which is very used to visualize the story that you are going for and the narrative design of your video game. It's open source. It's a very amazing tool. You definitely want to use it and try it out. One of the else narrative design tools is Artikey. It's very used also in the industry. It's way more organized and better in production than Twine. I definitely would recommend it for artists to show like their work in a better way. So usually it's better for narrative design and project planning and these stuff, so you can show the actual stuff that you worked on in a more impressive way than just PDFs or like docs. So these tools are very helpful in narrative design, or people that is working on narrative design or even want to pitch their game for publishers, because publishers knows these tools. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you gained a lot of experience from it. Definitely go and drop a comment about your opinion about these softwares or else softwares that you want me to talk about in future videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.